How to use a pseudo element to insert an image into our design as like basically a new element. So let's say that I want to have this header, and then next to it I want to put my picture of a kitten I have here. We know that we can make the picture of the kitten the background, right? But what if I want it to be a different block? So that's where pseudo elements are very helpful. And what a pseudo element lets you do is select any element in the HTML with CSS and then add a new element after or before it. So I'm going to take this header H1 and I'm going to stick my kitten after it. So first I need to select the element, and first things first, I'll make sure I'm actually selecting it. So go ahead and run that. Beautiful, I turned it red, right? We always want to do that. Now I'm going to add : after or : before, and that's going to let me add something before or after the element. To insert something, we're going to put content in, and you can just put in some text to begin with. We're going to replace this with a placeholder, but for now let's just put some content in and see what happens. Beautiful. There we see hello showing up after, and if I were to change this to before, the word hello would show up before. Great. So now I can go ahead and style this the way that I would do anything else. So I'll go ahead and say background image, URL, kitten.webp. One thing you might not expect you have to do, I'm going to tell it how to display this. So I could display it. If I want to give it a width and a height, it needs to be some kind of block element. So I'm going to go ahead and make it inline block in this case so that it goes next to the text, but I can make it block if I want it to go below the text. I can now give it a width and a height. I'm going to make mine a circle because it's not see-through and it'll look better as a circle. So I'm going to say border radius 50%. I'm going to say background position center, and I'm going to say background size cover. So size cover will fit it nicely. Position center will center the background. 200 by 200 with a 50%. It's going to be basically a 200 pixel circle. Let's go ahead and run that. All right, and there is my kitten. You'll notice the word hello is still showing up. If I get rid of the word hello, there's kind of a mysterious thing that will happen. Ooh, it worked. Interesting. Usually I've found, hold on, let's test this out. Usually I've found you have to put some content in there. If I get rid of it entirely, does it work? Yeah, it doesn't. So you've got to have some content. It can just be empty, though. So like there, it doesn't say the word hello. Obviously color is useless here. I'll get rid of that. But now I have my kitten. Now this element is going to lay out, here I'm going to go up to the inspector, just like part of that header. So if I look at the header, it's got a span, it's got text, and it's got some more text, right? So if I wanted to change how the header lays out, I could either, like I could make this element into display, oops, flex, and then I could say, you know, align items center if I wanted to align it. That would be one approach. So this is just going to be part of this element tree. If I wanted it to lay out as part of the header, I could put it there instead, or I could select any element I want. So a lot of this now is just like layout, like where do I want this kitten to be, and how do I want it to lay out. I'm going to show you one other kind of cool trick that you could do, and this is going to be if I want to make kind of a cool looking underline, but make it out of an element. So let's imagine I want to take all these headers and I'm going to add a custom underline to them. So first of all, let's just look at the HTML and see. I've got H3. I think H3 is my normal header. Yep, H3, 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 H3. So just to show you, you can use this after trick, not just with one thing, but with lots of things. So just a quick H3 : after. I'm going to just put the text, a header, after each one. And I can see now every single thing says a header, a header, a header, right? So what I'm going to do instead is make a little underline element. I'll show you what it looks like. So let's do blue. Uh-oh, where'd they go? Oh, maybe the 100% didn't work. Let's see. 200 pixels. Oh, interesting. Here I've got to put a space in the content to make it show up. Maybe? Wow. I have broken my brain. Let's put the word hello back and see what's going wrong. There it is showing up. Oh, I forgot to make it a block element. That's what I did. Hold on. Display block. Beautiful. So if I make it display block, it goes underneath it like a block element, right? And now let's see what happens if I make it 100%. It would then be 100%. So now what I've done is I've made this header have kind of a cool looking underline. And if I wanted to do a neat effect, I could go and do something, you know, I could go, let's hold on, CSS gradient. I'm going to just make a little gradient underline to show off how cool it is. Actually, how convenient that this picked up a blue. This by default was like a blue to white kind of gradient. Let's go. Let's see. So this one we're going to make transparent. Hey. Perfect. And I'm going to turn the gradient this way. Nice. We're going to put this, hold on. Okay, put that at 75. All right, this is a nice little gradient customizer tool. So I can make a neat looking gradient. Any type I like. There we go. I'm going to grab the code for that gradient. Copy that. Paste it in here. And there we go. Now I've got my gradient looking kind of neat. And if I wanted to have this like bleed into the text, I could also, I can play with its whatever I want to do. Like I could make the margin bottom. Let's see if I make that negative. That's going to smush the stuff below it closer. Pretty close. Let's go ahead and refresh. All right, so now this paragraph kind of overlaps. See what happens if we get rid of the margins in the paragraph. Oh, the H3, of course, still has a margin. There we go. That's what I wanted. I wanted it to like fade into there. Very nice. So I could do a paragraph. H3, margin bottom 0. And now I've got this cool looking fade along the bottom. P, margin top 0. Nice, it like fades right into it, which I kind of liked. Go back to 10 pixels. Not bad. All right, I mean, that looks dumb, but you get the idea. You can build custom elements that you insert. That could have been an image instead of a gradient, which would be cool. I can also, here. Let's do that. Oops. Interesting. And you can inspect and play with these. So this is now a little flex box. Huh. Yeah, interesting. As that thing's width grows, All right, well, whatever I might want to do. There's my example. All right, so that's pseudo-elements. I went on a little too long, but the basic idea, we add after, we can insert whatever we want after, and we can make a pseudo-element for just one thing, or we could insert it throughout our design in order to have some neat tricks. And there's lots of cool tricks people use for this, like you could use pseudo-elements to add little shapes or images before list items or anything of that nature. Cool.